Hi, this is Nandakumar, your wellness mentor, and welcome to yet another episode of Manas. In the previous video, I had spoken about three aspects which we can cultivate in order to overcome our irrational beliefs. Of them, the first one was unconditional self acceptance, the second was unconditional other acceptance, and the third was unconditional life acceptance. So, after watching that video, there were many people who came back and asked me, whatever you said was very nice, according to the theory of REBT. But can you tell us how can we cultivate self-acceptance and especially unconditional self-acceptance? Self-acceptance itself is so difficult. And then how do we create or cultivate unconditional self-acceptance? So in this video, we are going to talk about unconditional self-acceptance and 7 steps. 7 steps to cultivate self-acceptance and become unconditional about it. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, please do share and subscribe with your friends. Let us go into the topic straight away. Now, when we talk about self-acceptance, one of the important aspects which we need to see for ourselves is the image what we carry. We talk about, we all have a self-image, and the self-image is what we believe as our nature and character, the image what we carry about ourselves. But here, though we consider the image what we carry about ourselves as the real true nature of ourselves, that is a myth. The actual fact is that this self-image, what we have cultivated about ourselves and what we see ourselves as, has been dependent on what other people have told us. 90% of it is what others have told us. 10% is what we have drawn as experiences and beliefs from what others have told. From the time we were born, childhood, parents, teachers, friends, colleagues in college, many of these people, whatever they expressed about us, whatever they told about us to us, is what has created this image. So most of the aspect of our self-image is others oriented rather than our we oriented. So we need to understand first that whatever image we carry about ourselves is something which is not really fixed and it can be changed and corrected. So we need to break this myth about self-image first. That's the first thing you need to do. The second aspect for creating self-acceptance is that you need to be self-forgiving. So we need to forgive ourselves for the mistakes we have made. We might have committed a lot of mistakes in the past. And beating ourselves up for those mistakes is not the right thing to do. And that is really going to cause poor self-esteem. And it is only going to create a feeling of unworthiness inside. So the second important thing for creating self-acceptance is self-forgiveness. You need to forgive yourself for the mistakes you have made. We are all human beings and we all make mistakes. So it's okay. And we need to accept that. The third important thing is that we need to become more compassionate with ourselves. You need to become more loving to yourself. So self-love is something which we need to practice. Self-compassion is something which we need to practice. Again, here, many times what we do is that we beat ourselves up more for all the little small things what we do. Why do we do this? Most of the time, we end up comparing ourselves with other people. We try to. That is how we have grown up from childhood. Our marks have been compared. The way we earn money is compared. As you grow up, the status in the society is compared. What you have as possession is compared. So we are living in a society where comparison is the norm. And trust me, if you are comparing yourself with somebody else, there will always be someone who is above. We don't generally look at people who are below us, but we always look at people who are above us. And then we feel bad, we become disappointed, we feel anxious that we are not living up to the level of what other people live. So here, it is important for us to understand that all of us have got our own individual lives. And the only comparison you have to do is to compare with yourself. Have you become better than what you were yesterday? What you were 1 week before, 1 month before, 1 year before? That is a comparison you need to do. So if you stop comparing yourself with other people, you will start becoming more self-accepting. The fourth important thing is that you need to appreciate your strengths. Most of the time, you will see that we don't appreciate our positive things. We are very quick to find out and criticize our negatives, but we never appreciate our positives. We don't give value to the positive things what we have. If you even succeed in a project, you will say, okay, that was because of luck. Something happened that I was able to succeed. But had you failed somewhere, then you would have beaten yourself up. So what do we do here? We minimize the positives what we have and we maximize the negatives what we have. So there is a high degree of disparity between what we perceive as our positives and our negatives. We tend to maximize the negatives and we don't give value to the positives. So here, the important thing is to appreciate your strengths. So be practical about what are the good things you have, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses. So that comes to the next aspect, the fifth. Accept and acknowledge your weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. Everybody is unique. Everybody is made differently. You can't ask a fish to climb a tree. So every human being is also like that. We have different faculties, different capabilities, different skills, different talents. So we may all have positive things on one side. We may have weaknesses on the other side. We need to accept and acknowledge our weaknesses. One thing is that we should not run away from our weaknesses and try to avoid that. The most important thing here is to accept the weakness we have. Yes, I have an issue with speaking on the stage, or I have a communication problem or a difficulty in handling this kind of thing. I am very shy to talk to people, or I am shy when I meet strangers. These are some things which we have as our weaknesses. And once we acknowledge that we have these weaknesses, we can start working on them. So accepting and acknowledging our weakness is the fifth. The sixth is surround yourself with people who accept you as you are. Now, what does that mean? You are not supposed to surround yourself with toxic people. There are people who will drain your energy off. There are people who always have high degree of expectations from you. You must do like this, you must do like that, you could have done better and all that. But if they are people who are toxic in their behavior, it is better to avoid them. So you try to surround yourself with people who are okay with you. Look at friends who accept you as you are. They know your strength, they know your weaknesses, but they are there for you all the time. So that's the kind of company a man is known by the company he keeps. That is the kind of company you need. So that's the sixth point. And the seventh, the last but not the least, I would go back to the serenity prayer, which says, God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So there are a lot of things in this world which we cannot change. We need to accept that first. There are certain things which we might be able to do. There are certain things which we might not be able to do. So accept that. And if you are able to change something, we know that we can change something, we need to have the courage to change. And we need to have the wisdom to know the difference between what we can change and what we cannot change. So if we are able to practice these 7 things, then self-acceptance becomes more easier and unconditional self-acceptance will start building inside you. To summarize, the 7 steps for self-acceptance and unconditional self-acceptance is: number 1, self-image. Break the myth of the self-image. Know that it can be changed. It is not what you are actually, but you can always, it is flexible and it can be changed. The second is self-forgiveness. Forgive yourself for whatever mistakes you do. The third is be compassionate to yourself. Practice self-love and treat yourself very well. The fourth is accept your and acknowledge your strengths. Acknowledge and accept your strength. So when you're looking only at weaknesses, that is not enough. Accept and acknowledge your strengths. That's the fourth one. The fifth is accept and acknowledge your weaknesses. Whatever weaknesses you have, accept them and then go beyond them. The sixth is surround yourself with people who accept you. And the seventh is the serenity prayer. Have the wisdom to understand that there are a lot of things in life which cannot be changed, and you need to have the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So if you are able to practice these 7 steps, self-acceptance will become more easy. And as you practice this, unconditional self-acceptance will start building in inside you. Thank you for watching this video, and please do share and subscribe this video and refer it to your friends if you like this video. Until we meet next time, this is Nandakumar, your wellness mentor, signing off. Thank you.